Well, good morning, friends. Good morning. You are taking a live look over the plaza right now with clear skies. It's going to be a beautiful day out there. It's already a beautiful day. Temperatures are kind of hovering around the upper 40s currently. We've got light wind out the door, very mild for us. Some of us are going to be dealing with temperatures in the low 80s. Possibly breaking some records. Not quite for the metro, though. I think we're going to hit a high temperature today of 80 degrees. But our record is set back in 1918 of 82. Well, good morning to you. First Warn 5 meteorologist Greg Bennett here. Lots to discuss. I say that every time, but it's true. It is so true. There are so many things that we need to discuss here when it comes down to what we have for us. But the first thing that I do want to talk about is this update to the severe weather threat. I've got big thunderstorm activity on. A brand new update came down the line earlier this morning, even newer than what Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris was talking about. And we've got ourselves an increased threat for severe weather now. We've got high wind activity that's going to be out there tomorrow morning into the day side. I've got the metro under severe weather threat. Some of it is under a heightened severe weather risk, and we're going to get involved with that right now. First things first, though, I do want to go through the high wind situation, okay? We're going to be seeing a high wind advisory and a high wind watch through the area. So those wind advisories up to our northern counties, that's going to be up around lunchtime tomorrow, goes till 10 p.m. But then we've got a high wind watch right here to the city, I-70 and south. That's 11 a.m. to about 10 o'clock at night. The wind gusts, 55 miles per hour, totally possible here around the metro. Further north you go, it's more like a 30 to 45 mile per hour gust. That is high wind any way you cut it, and this is before we even get to the storm activity. And in fact, we are looking at dry conditions at the same time. There's not enough moisture at the low levels of our atmosphere, the surface, to get away from dry conditions. So high wind, dry conditions, still going to be a warm day. We're going to bring in a fire weather situation. Whoops, let's try to bring that back here. It's a fire weather watch that we're monitoring here that starts up 11 a.m. and will go till 10 o'clock at night. All right, now let's go on into the next one that we just showed you here. Big update compared to last night. So there's your level 1 risk. It's that green zone. That's going to be off around most of the metro, moves out towards Leavenworth County, clear on over to Jefferson and Atchison and Donovan counties. Level 2 risk, though, this is new compared to yesterday. It is now in portions of our north and eastern quadrants of the metro. Jackson, Clay counties, Platte counties. Yeah, you have a level 2 risk out there. Level 3, and that's even more new, is now pushing up towards Mercer, Grundy counties, Livingston County out there, Lynn County, and right there on the cusp is Marshall itself. So it is going to be a very interesting ride as we move forward. I'm going to show you what some of our models are indicating. This is what we call the graph model. It is a blended model created by meteorologists at the program company that we use for our graphics called WSI. And pretty impressive that they made this. It's actually done a pretty decent job overall. Some models are still technically better than this one, but it's a very good starting off point of what the thunderstorm activity could do. 4 p.m. in the afternoon, there you go. Isolated thunderstorms starting to develop. This is that level 1 area, and it looks pretty conducive for that. By 6 o'clock, we get to the level 2 zone. You can see how we break out with some stronger storm cells here. It seems a little bit more organized, but as we move to the level 3 zone, all of a sudden, big, nice, healthy line of dark reds and oranges, all indicative of strong or powerful storm activity, most likely severe weather, and this is going to have the opportunity for high wind, hail, frequent lightning, heavy rain, and yes, even that tornado chance. Taking all of that into consideration, and for the entire viewing area, not just the metro, this is what we're expecting with the severe weather activity, okay? If we're going to see severe storms, it is much more likely that high wind and hail development are going to be our biggest concerns. However, notice that needle for tornado activity. It is not at 0, and it's trying to creep up to a moderate risk threat. So it's something that we still have to watch very closely. I want you to take all of this into consideration in getting that plan in place for you and your family. And remember, this could be late afternoon at the earliest and continuing into the evening and portions of our overnight, especially if you live east of the metro. Okay, so be prepared for that all the way around. I'm going to go back in to the short range model system, and I'm going to get rid of the graph system that we use, and I'm going to introduce something that's called the NAM. Okay, it's another model that we like to use here, and there we go. We've just updated it, and I've just got it in now. So now we're looking at the NAM model data, and we're going to push it through Friday's forecast. There's 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see how we're starting to see some showers and storm cells here, and that's actually pretty conducive for our southwestern counties that could see some rain. We get to 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're starting to peak with our heat, but notice where we have the NAM now. It's really shooting out stronger storm cells in a good kind of organized line out towards our level 3 zone so late in the day. By the time we make it into the early evening, 5, 6 o'clock, the biggest threat for severe storm activity is just outside the viewing area on its way towards Columbia, okay? But look at, even moving on the backside of the low pressure system, we still have showers and thunderstorms developing through the mid and late evening right here through the metro, and those little pockets of yellow and orange. Those could be pockets of even a chance for severe storm activity as well with this low pressure system, especially because of how warm we are and starting to see more instability to our atmosphere. I'm going to switch off this system, and then I'm going to go into the high resolution model. We call this the HRRR. And again, another very good short range model, and it's usually pretty good at predicting our severe weather activity during severe weather season. All right, it's not the end all be all, but overall it's got a pretty good pedigree to it. Let's see what this one shows us. 4 or 5 o'clock, nothing really happens. And then all of a sudden 6 or 7 o'clock comes in, and any severe weather activity that occurs, it's way to the west of us. I mean, pardon me, the east of us, with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, moving through the area, but nothing too aggressive here with some high wind. That seems to be the least likely to occur right now, is the high resolution model to occur. I don't believe the timing is quite right on the NAM, nor do I believe even the graph is actually right here, but a blend of all three is kind of anticipated. Maybe not as aggressive with the thunderstorm activity that we're seeing in the graph model. I think the timing is just about appropriate, though, in the graph as well. And obviously it could be more isolated to scattered rather than getting well organized within our viewing area, so that's a three, kind of taking these three models into consideration and giving you my best idea of what can occur as we move forward in the next 24 hours. But overall, it's still going to be a wild ride, and honestly, it's just whatever the atmosphere wants to do at that exact time. So we're just going to have to continue to watch and wait. And obviously, if new data comes in, we're going to let you know. If we shift over that level 3 risk any more than where it's at right now, we could definitely be talking about a first warn weather day, the highest risk or alert that we have here at KCTV5 for inclement weather. So it's definitely something that we're going to keep an eye on. Now, with all of that being said, it's still going to be a beautiful day today. We've got high temperatures in the lower 80s, upper 40s to start us off, quickly pushing up into the upper 60s for lunchtime. It's light on the wind, sunny skies. I'm going to call our high temperature 80 degrees. I mean, that's a day that you hit the pools. I guess you could if the pool is clean, but it's going to be ice cold. So take that into consideration. But overall, it's a day to go visit the park. It's a day to be outdoors with the family all the way around. Great spring kind of day here for spring break for a lot of kids, which has actually started this week. With that being said, there is a drastic change in temperature after the storm system that we have been monitoring, and it's going to come in on our Saturday forecast, okay? Our Saturday forecast is back to normal for this time of year, which is in the low and middle 50s. That's the daytime high. Same thing goes as we move on into Sunday, but there's a first warning on our Saturday. And the reason being is because we could still see some isolated showers left over from this low in the early morning hours, but the wind is going to stick around all day long. So let me go back to this. Our wind is 45 to 55 mile per hour gusts on Friday, 20 to 30 mile per hour sustained winds. But even Saturday, a 15 to 20 miles per hour sustained wind and gusts up to 35 are absolutely possible on the backside of this low pressure system. So if you're thinking about heading out to any parade, i.e. we've been talking about this all week long, the Snake Saturday Parade, KCTV5 will be a part of it here. The temperatures are going to be in the 40s to start the parade. It's going to be cold. The feel-like temperatures in the low 30s will be common for us because of that gusty condition. So take that into consideration if you're going to be out and about in the early morning. It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold out there. It does get better. Sunday, much less wind. You don't have to worry about gusts. The temperature remains the same, but we'll see a lot more sunshine out there. We are tracking a little bit more wet weather into mid next week. That may drop our temperatures once more, but we do see a warmer trend overall. Let me show you that 7-day forecast. 73 the high for actual St. Patrick's Day. 74 Tuesday. We have another disturbance that comes in Wednesday, an opportunity for some scattered showers. That drops our temperature down to the upper 50s and lower 60s, only to then rebound again to upper 60s and lower 70s. So it's a roller coaster ride of weather that we have here, and in the next 24 hours, it's going to get really serious. Stick with KCTV5 and the First Warn 5 weather team as we move and adjust the atmosphere data that we have accordingly to make you well informed and to help you better prepare for you and your family during a severe weather threat like we are potentially going to have Friday afternoon into the evening.